Today, sumo has grown to become a national treasure and a popular attraction in Japan. But the history of this over a century-old full-contact wrestling sport is deeper than just mere entertainment. For ancient mortals, it was a fight to the death. Its origins stretch far into the myths and legends of the Japanese people, as seen in prehistoric paintings on ancient cave walls, making it hold an important place in the East Asian country's eventful history. It wouldn't be so wrong if we said the spirit of sumo is one with the spirit of Japan. Stay tuned in this video as we explore the mystifying world of Grand Sumo and learn how this ancient competitive martial art is keeping the true spirit of Japanese tradition alive. Legend has it that the first sumo fight was a battle between two celestial beings warring over the possession of the Japanese islands. Takemi Kazuchi, the Japanese god of thunder and swordsmanship, sought to conquer the land of Izumo, a place Takemi Nakata, the god of water, wind, and agriculture, had taken an equal interest in. And so, Takemi Kazuchi challenged Takemi Nakata to settle their cosmic dispute in a hand-to-hand combat, involving no weapons or use of unearthly powers. Their scuffle spanned through many sunrises and sunsets as they grappled at each other, twisting and turning until Takemi Kazuchi defeated Takemi Nakata by crushing his arm and pinning him to the ground in a show of raw strength, claiming the islands to himself. However, the first recorded sumo match between mortals in history dates back to 23 BC, when a man named Nomi no Sukun wrestled to the death and was victorious against Taima no Kuehaya, a fight that was set up for the entertainment of Emperor Sumin. According to Nihongi, the second oldest book of classical Japanese history, published in 720 AD, sumo continued to be a fight to the death for almost a century, and when its lethal reign ended, it became popular within the courts of emperors, and this gave rise to its increased ceremonial and religious significance. Despite that, during the fall of the emperor's central authority in the Japanese Middle Ages around 1185 to 1603 AD, sumo lost its relevance in the court and was briefly repurposed from a ceremonial bout to a combat style adopted for military training among samurai. As its exclusivity diminished, an unregulated form of the sport spread into the larger culture of the Japanese people, and it became a popular event for the entertainment of the masses, with tournaments attended by spectators in the thousands by the 15th century. But its growing popularity came with a rise in uncontrolled street fights, and this eventually led to sumo being banned temporarily during the Edo period in 1684, only making a return after an official sumo organization was set up by the Edo administration to oversee the sports, consisting of professional wrestlers and trainers. A wrestler is victorious in sumo if they can force their opponent out of a circular ring with a 4.55-meter diameter called a dohyo, or if they can make their opponent touch the ground inside the dohyo with a part of their body that isn't the soles of the feet. Professional wrestlers are called rikishi, and they employ various sumo fighting techniques known as kimarite to outpower their opponent, including striking, pushing, tossing, and grabbing the opponent by the belt until one comes out victorious. However, moves like pulling an opponent's hair, bending their fingers, strangling, pinching, kicking, gripping the crotch area, and striking an opponent's ears simultaneously are referred to as kinjite and have been deemed illegal by the Japan Sumo Association. The matches are overseen by the gyoji, a sumo referee who is supported by 5 judges known as shimpan, and technical decisions regarding cases like when 2 wrestlers seemingly touch the floor with their bodies or leave the ring at the same time are deliberated upon by the 5 judges, with the referee having the final say. With no weight division in the sport, sumo wrestlers have come to be famous for their enormous body sizes, with the average weight in the top division reaching a whopping 366 pounds as of January 2019. Although greater weights are often a winning factor in the sport and wrestlers can be put to face opponents twice their size in professional fights, smaller fighters with superior combat skills can still triumph over much larger opponents. In a tradition carried on through the centuries, sumo wrestlers are strictly required to put on a 30-foot-long belt that is tied in knots at their back during fights and training. This belt, known as the mawashi, comes with an official thickness and strength requirement by the Japan Sumo Association and is what the wrestlers grab to make moves and defeat their opponent during matches. The mawashi also physically differentiates the ranks of sumo wrestlers, with top-rated fighters adorned in a silk belt of whatever color they please, while lower-rated fighters are stuck with black cotton belts until they have proven their way through the ranks. New wrestlers begin their professional journey at the 6th and lowest division, Jonakuchi, after completing a compulsory 9 years of education and meeting the minimum height and weight requirements for sumo. This division consists of about 50 rikishi, mostly within the ages of 16, 18 who must work their way up the ranks by winning matches at tournaments. From Jonakuchi, a fighter who performs well in tournaments moves up into the 5th division known as Jonaden, which consists of approximately 200 rikishi. The next division is Sandaime, which has a fixed number of 180 rikishi that can occupy it at a time, making it harder to climb than the previous rank. The third division is called Makoshita, and this rank can be held by just 120 rikishi who are fighting to make it to the much-coveted Sekitori ranks. Juryo, the second highest rank in sumo, consists of just 28 rikishi and make one part of the Sekitori, who are easily distinguished by their colorful belts and a unique top-knot hairdo fanned out into the shape of a ginkgo leaf. Makuchi, the topmost rank of the sport, which is further divided into 5 ranks, receives the most media attention and is made up of the 42 best sumo wrestlers who are also part of the Sekitori, the dream status of every rikishi. Outside the dohyo, rikishi lives very systemized lives as the Japan Sumo Association prescribes strict guidelines to abide by, with heavy fines or suspensions attached to defaulting. For example, wrestlers are required to join stables run by members of the JSA, where they train daily and live on a controlled diet. Rikishi is also prohibited from driving cars because their enormous sizes could be potentially dangerous behind a steering wheel. They also have fashion codes relegated to traditional Japanese apparel, like the chanmij when making public appearances, and this fabulously differentiates them from the crowd. The quality of chanmij a fighter wears is decided by his rank with rikishi, in divisions below Jonaden allowed to wear just a thin cotton robe, known as yukata, and wooden sandals known as geta. As the fighters scale the ranks, their fashion choices broaden to include traditional overcoats, straw sandals, and even elegant silk robes for the higher-ranked Sekitori fighters. Terunofuji Haruo is a professional sumo wrestler from Japan. He was born on November 29, 1991, in Ulaanbaatar, Mongolia, and began his sumo career in March 2011. Terunofuji quickly rose through the ranks of professional sumo and reached the top division Makuchi in January 2014. Terunofuji's inspiring rise to Yokozuna began in 2013 when he surprisingly took the second division Juryo that promoted him to Sekitori after debuting in 2011. By 2015, he fought for the top division and claimed the Makuchi championship, becoming the third fastest rikishi to achieve the feat after just 25 professional matches. However, he soon suffered a knee injury among other health problems, and this caused him to be demoted multiple times, landing him at Jonaden, the second lowest. Just like his meteoric rise, Terunofuji's epic fall from the top shocked the majority of sumo fans. But what he did next is still unbelievable to date. After a long injury layoff in March 2019, Terunofuji staged a successful comeback and rose to the top division the following year, before winning the top-ranked championship 3 consecutive times to become Sumo's 73rd Yokozuna in 2021 and is also the only active fighter holding the title. Being a Rikishi commands great respect among the Japanese people, and the wrestlers are rightfully viewed as custodians and ambassadors of the Japanese culture, keeping the spirit of the East Asian country alive and blooming every year. And that's a wrap on today's video. Which of these facts about sumo interested you the most? Let us know in the comment section.